Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CADimensions Morning Show. So here we are, Friday morning, getting ready to start something new. And my very first question on the GoToWebinar is, Kevin, can you print me a 3D donut? Now, what's a morning meeting without a donut, of course, but I kind of got the second best thing. I have my Danish friend, Lars Christensen here. As you can see
Morning,
in
everybody.
videos. Good morning, Lars. How are you?
I'm doing great. Awesome. It's Friday.
So is it snowing in Buffalo?
It's not. It's not.
It's coming.
We know it is.
All right. So morning show. A couple of housekeeping things before we get going here. We've decided to do this with some video so you can have a little more interaction with us here. So in order to do that and GoToWebinar, you have kind of a window to the side that you're going to be working with. And there's a little separator between the graphics area and the webinar webcams. If you want to resize that window, feel free to do so to give you a more viewing area of what we're going to show here. Also, at some point in time at the end of today, we are going to be taking questions from our audience. In order to do that, there's a question section of the GoToWebinar window. Feel free to post questions that maybe you just haven't been able to ask. Not necessarily tech support questions, but something in terms of, hey, I was trying to do this. What tool do you think I should use, or things like that. And we'll have some time at the end, possibly pull your questions and maybe give you some answers live. We will answer all of the questions. You will notice there's a chat section just below that. If you put it in the chat, we probably won't answer till the very end. So please post those into the question section. Now, morning show, I mean, that could mean a lot of things. We're looking at ways of getting information to our customers, and there's so many ways to do that. And we started the Lunch and Learns probably 3 years ago, and most of you have probably attended and talked to most of our folks here at CADimensions. But those formats are very focused on a particular topic, and a lot of times the information that we have is something we can tell you in 2 or 3 sentences with a description. So we needed some other method of maybe doing that. So me and Lars sat down and we said, well, what if we did some sort of morning show? And this is kind of what came out of it. Now, what I want to talk about is what is the morning show and what is not the morning show. We have lots of ideas, and the rest of the CADimensions staff, all of us here, are going to try to keep this unpredictable, keep it informal, make it a little bit more loose than you might be used to with some of our webinars. But here's some of the things that we might cover. We might have special guests, go over best practices, talk about some things going on technically that might have come out from SolidWorks, maybe events and training and partners. So it can be a lot of things that we can't really nail down exactly. Here's kind of how I'll describe it. We're going to give you some tools that you can run with. So that's going to maybe allow you to have a few more moves in your arsenal. Kick some more butt with your CAD tools, I guess. I love that image with the cats. But what is the morning show maybe not going to help you with? Well, I'll say it won't help you with. You have a process internally. What we're going to do is we're going to provide you with all the information surrounding the SolidWorks world. We're not going to tell you how to do things or how to flowchart your process, like this beautiful flowchart we have here. This one came from Lars, by the way. But we're going to give you some ideas on how to change and move and become better with your CAD tools in the engineering department. We're also not going to be an incubator for ideas. Now, me and Lars sat down and we came up with some really cool stuff, as you can see, but we're not going to sit here and design better products and use this as kind of a think tank and and Design Live. This is more, SolidWorks surrounding in the products and the environment around it. So, without further ado, here's what we're going to show today. We're going to cover tips and tricks. We're going to cover some of our favorite additions of 2014. A little bit from what's new from SolidWorks, and we're talking SolidWorks news, the environment and surrounding it. We're going to talk about mining for SolidWorks knowledge and some of the tools there. And like I promised, we're going to get to your audience questions. So without further ado, here's my friend Lars. And we'll let Lars go ahead and start with tips and tricks.
All right, very cool, Kevin. Thank you. Sorry about the feedback in the beginning of the session here. I had my mic on, so I kind of got the feedback from Kevin. I'm sorry about that. It's Friday morning. A little tired. I am sitting here having my coffee, of course, drinking out of my 2D is for Sissies coffee cup. So, we are getting the caffeine here. But thank you all for joining us in this session. So the idea is, like Kevin said, let's keep it light. Any feedback, give it to us, please, in the question or per email. So what's better than on a Friday morning? Let's jump into a couple of tips and tricks, and hopefully everybody can see my screen here. So first tips, I just want to throw a couple out there. Just some of these small ones that we maybe sometimes forget when we're working in here. Let's roll back on this part here to the first feature. By the way, don't forget that roll back, you don't always have to grab that little bar down here. We can actually right-click and just hit this button here, and we can roll back to the first feature. Now, I want to go into my sketch. I'm talking about 2D is for Sissy, but I'm going to start out with the sketch, right? I'm just going to kill myself here. And we can see here the sketch is underdefined, so that's not good. Let's go in and edit that one. You will see that my two circles here are underdefined. They're blue, right? If I go in and add a smart dimension on here and click on it, we will get the radius. That's what we all expect. But what you maybe didn't know was that if we hold down the control key, and you have two of those on your keyboard, it's normally the one that is in the lower left, right? If you hold that one down and you then click on the circle and the two endpoints of the circle here, you actually get the length of that radius. So that can be really handy, and that works on that actually works on drawings too. So if you ever want to display that, you can actually do that. So hold down Control and select the arc itself, and then the two endpoints. While you're holding down Control, you get the length of the circle. I think that's a pretty neat one. Let's roll back to the end here. Again, we can always just roll to the end by right-clicking on that bar, and we're back to the other point here. Now, the next thing that I want to show here, that's actually one of my good friends and colleagues, Franco's, one of his favorite ones. If I open up a sketch here on the back side, and let's just make a rectangle. Don't forget that when you go to actually extrude something through in the end here, we're going to make a cut through here, that by right-clicking out of the graphics area, you get all the options that you have over in the dialog box over to the left. So there's no reason to go over there and click through all that stuff. You can just right-click out in the graphics area, and we're going through here. So I hope that that's a couple of good tips to kind of like get the Friday morning started here. A little bit of sketching, and then a little bit of quick access back to coding. So with that, I hope you like that. Let's see if Kevin don't have some. We know him from all the Luncheoners. Maybe you have a couple of tricks you've gathered from that. So go ahead, Kevin.
So Lars, we've been using the software for a long time, the two of us, and it just amazes me how much you can get to without having to get to a toolbar. Now, I have a kind of a question for you here. It was funny, I was listening to the radio on the way in, and they were talking about the word of the year. And I'm thinking about it because we're sitting here on webcam, and it kind of Could go with webcams, I guess. And any guess to what the word of the year might be? No?
Oh, I don't. The word of the year, I don't
The
know.
word of the year is selfie. So here we're sitting on webcams.
How do you spell that?
I don't want you to be taking any selfies of your morning show experience and tweeting them out. Anyhow, back to the tips and tricks. I want to talk about a couple that are kind of dear to me, but kind of adding some functionality. One that I talk about a lot of times during customer visits is the S key. The S key comes to us when we're working inside the SOLIDWORKS environment and we're trying to get access to commands that we would typically have to go to a pull-down menu to get. Now, we all know that the command manager can be edited. I can add all my favorite commands to that. But the distance to go from my sketch to the command manager, there's a little bit of move there. Inside of SOLIDWORKS, whether I'm in a part, sketch, assembly, drawing, if I hit my S key, it provides me with a toolbar that I can customize just by right-clicking. Now, some of you may not know that that's even there. When I say S key, it literally is the S key on your keyboard. Now, what I really want to show as a trick today is not the S key. Most of you have probably stumbled upon that. But the fact that when you hit the S key, something else happens. If you look at the top right-hand corner of your SOLIDWORKS interface, you'll notice that the search window is active with flashing bar. And in a lot of cases, the commands that you're looking for, some of the more obscure ones that you don't touch very often are not going to be on that S key. In this case, sketch text. So with that being active for the command search, I can actually just start to type in text, and you'll see that it filters out the commands that match that in the SOLIDWORKS interface. Now, I don't even have to move my cursor to make a selection here. I can use my down arrows on the keyboard. When I find what I want, I can go ahead and hit enter, and it actually launches that particular command. This has helped me a lot so that I don't have to add everything that I could possibly use to the command manager or to my S key. Now, along with that, there's another tool here. If I'm, let's say, want to move some faces here, I hit my S key, I type in move command. There's a little icon to the right of that. If you were to go up to the search results, and if I mouse over, it's called show command location. If I click on that, this is all happening automatically. It's not my cursor, but it will actually pull down the menu, go right directly to the command and point to it. Phenomenal way if you've got a new user coming in to teach them a little bit about where the commands might be and a different way of finding information. So that's my first tip of the day. The second one is probably even more obscure than that. I've been looking at different ways that I can use some of the tools that have been around a while. And one of those tools is off to the right in our task pane. And in our task pane, which is there for our design library and access of drawing views and appearances, is one called the File Explorer. Now, in the File Explorer, we can control which folders we want to view, but there's some functionality in here that I think is highly useful. Now, I've opened an assembly, and if I expand the section that says Open in SOLIDWORKS, what I'm actually seeing is all the components that are opened up in this session of SOLIDWORKS. The one that is in color is the one that is fully loaded into memory. Everything else is referenced at this point. Now, some of the things that you're capable of doing in here, you will have the ability, if you mouse over, to get an immediate preview that shows you the path to the file, the last modified date, and the size of that particular file. There's also a preview. If I were to right-click on a file, you can turn on a preview window. And what this will allow you to do is preview configuration. So if I wanted to look at different sizes and items that are available to me. I can do everything through the Windows Explorer. If I wanted to know where this file is relative to my server, I can say find on my computer, and it will actually expand a section at the bottom that represents my computer, and that will allow me to maybe go out there and find what I'm looking for. But that's some basic information. It's also going to do some more stuff for us. For instance, if I were to swap out a configuration in here between two components, as soon as I make a change to the geometry, I can actually refresh the view here. Let me open this up and make this change in here. And we'll go ahead and save that and just jump over. Now what you're going to see is as components are modified or loaded into memory, this will change. Now what this is showing me is that this has been loaded into memory because I opened it, and the assembly has been modified in memory but not saved. If I were to save the assembly, okay, and refresh, that's going to go away. You know that it's no longer modified in memory. Now, used in conjunction with some of your read-write privileges, you're going to have the ability, let's say if we reloaded a component here, and I reload it read-only, you're going to be able to also see when a component is loaded read-only. It's going to be fantastic for environments where you're trying to share files, and usually you have to go up to find references to figure out if it's read-only. So something maybe that you haven't stumbled upon, but maybe is a useful tool that you can use going forward. Okay, what do you think, Lars? You ever use File Explorer?
A couple of times. I will again now, but you reminded me about it.
So 2014, it's what, month and a half, 2 months old for the most part. Service Pack 1 is due out on the 25th, which we're getting real close now. And we've as a staff here at CADimensions, we've kind of had time to digest what's in there, and our staff also did a wonderful job at the What's New rollouts, presenting information. But we kind of wanted to take some time to pick out a couple of our favorites in 2014. Maybe not the most popular items, but maybe some things that you can put to use in your everyday environment here. So let's look at SolidWorks for a moment. And I just want to open a drawing. One of the new tools in 2014 relates to annotations on a drawing. Now when I go to place an annotation, in this case just a note, previously in 2013, if I wanted that note to be tied to a particular view, there's a couple things I could do. I could lock the view focus on the view, then I could place the note. And what I mean be locked to it, if the view moves, I want the note to move with it. If I didn't want, I just kept outside the border, I was fine. But sometimes you have kind of this area where you have two views, and it's a little bit hard to place the note where you want. I really want this associated with this view, but I want to place that right here. Well, when I go to place this in here, you can see what happens. It places the note, and because this was the closest active view, it associated itself with that particular view. Well, in 2014, we've got some added functionality that allow us to attach the annotation either to the sheet or to a particular view. If I select Attach to Sheet, it no longer is tied to that particular view. I can select a view, then right-click on the annotation, and now attach it to that particular view. And now I'm guaranteed that this is going to move right along with it. So I've seen instances where the drawing view borders were maybe a little bit large, so it activated a view it shouldn't, and now you're trying to reorganize some things, and your note in the corner with a bunch of flag notes is all of a sudden messed up, for that matter. So one of my favorites in 2014, doesn't seem like much, but I think it will help with some problems on the drawing end. The other one that I want to talk about today relates to mating. I was surprised as the 2014 came out how much they changed as it relates to mating. And for most of you, hopefully you've been using the functionality called Smart Mates since it was available to us. If you don't know what Smart Mates is, it's the ability to just hover over a face, hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, and I can actually drag one face to another and have it snap and position, and then I can modify any of the other mate types from the standard menu. Now that's been available for quite some time. What changed in 2014 is relative to using that tool. If I go to the Move Component command, there's always been a little icon in the Move Component command that is for activating this Smart Mates option. Now we can activate it with the Alt key. The problem with that is you have to be able to drag one face to another. And if the faces, you can't see them both, it's very, very hard to drag and rotate and do all that in one shot. So they've given us the ability in 2014 to actually activate Smart Mates through an icon. So now when I turn it on, if I want to put two faces together, it's nothing more than double click, double click. If I want two faces to go together, double click. I can rotate my model and double click the surface I want it to go to. So it doesn't require me to hold down the necessary items within the interface to make it happen. Finally, just because it goes right along with this, mating has just gotten so much easier, especially for the standard mates, because now you can hold down, let me turn off my Smart Mates here, you can hold down and control select two surfaces, very much like you can take two lines of geometry in a sketch and add a relation. Well, now I can go ahead and automatically have a pop-up to add mates, and this is for our standard mates within that environment as well. So as you can see, if you're just doing a lot of very simple mating using standard techniques, very little movement, very quick, very easy. So what do you think? This is pretty cool, Lars?
I do think that is pretty awesome for sure. Yeah, some good stuff in 2014, and really great that great job that that Sasha and Jesse did with that for you guys who went through the rollout. Some really neat stuff. 2014. And sorry, Mark, I know you're on 2012. I'm sorry, man. It's gonna be good when you finally get going on your 2014. There's some neat stuff. For some reason, just because I made my remark about my coffee cup being 2D for sissies, I'm going to just continue working in 2D, apparently. So one of the things that I thought was pretty neat was that they actually added some new drawing tools. And one of the drawing tools that they added is that if you go in and you right-click in here and go and add some more dimensions, they now have angular running dimensions available inside of SolidWorks. That's really neat. If you gotta throw some dimensions in, you can very quickly go in and apply those dimensions in there. So very neat that they just appear really sharp and come up and everything. But what I think is neat, and this actually also goes for other annotations, but it's neat is you can control them. But more that at any point, even though that I'm outside my drawing area, and you moved on, and if you're like me, I can't remember what I did yesterday, you suddenly forgot to apply one of those dimensions. You can actually right-click on them, and when you right-click, you can actually go in and say Add to Running Dimensions, and you can apply that one you forgot, and that one appears. So I think that that's pretty neat. We were living in that 3D environment, but SolidWorks is actually doing a pretty good job adding those. Another thing that I just got to add, that I just it's the small things, right? If you click on a note, that you can actually now just change them all to uppercase. Right? That's a fantastic little button there that just changes your note from lowercase to uppercase. Isn't that one of the ones we always kind of like running around chasing? The other one I want to show is well, it's becoming one of my favorite things inside of SolidWorks, and that is costing. They introduced this a few years ago, and I think it's really neat that, SolidWorks is an awesome modeling software, accuracy and all that kind of stuff, but the SolidWorks is trying to extract data out of our models and giving it to the engineers and the designers to really work with. So costing keeps on getting these new enhancements in it, and coming from a machining world, this one here really, this was kind of a nice one. If you never touched costing, and this is for professional premium users, but I had to throw it in here so you can see it. So on the evaluation toolbar, and by the way, if these toolbars, if you right-click on any of these tabs, you can turn on and off those command managers. But on the evaluation toolbar, costing is sitting right there. So it's not an add-on like we're used to going up here and click and say add-ons. It's actually sitting right over here. And it's all template-based, right? What it means that you can actually apply your data to get the right price for the type of machines and stuff like that you have. But what they added, they added in 2013 volume recognition. So if there's certain features that the software don't see, that is a little questioning about, it actually puts them over here in a no cost assigned. So I might have some slots that the software is just not really sure on how am I going to do these. But what they added in 2014 that I think is really sweet is up here to the right, they have this little cost dialog box. And in here, you can actually go in and recognize everything is a volume feature. You can choose different tooling scenarios, but you can also, if you knew the price, you had another part that was very similar that you already know the price on it. That's many times the case, right? You knew one of these values, you can just cost it like that, and you don't even have to use the templates that needs to be set up because they do need the accurate data in there. So you can kind of like bypass them on the fly, what I think is pretty fantastic. So there's kind of like a couple of what I think was some really neat stuff that if I can't get to my PowerPoint there. Some really neat stuff that they added on to 2014, and I hope that you guys have had a chance to play with it, or at least as Mark is coming, right? So you can get some of those things in there. Now, Kevin was talking earlier about the morning show and about how we're trying to kind of like help with getting some other information out there instead of our lunch and learns. And one of the things that I am one of these, I like social media and be out and getting information and stuff like that. And there's a lot out there. So we thought that maybe it would make sense that we're using this morning show to kind of like just let you quickly catch up on what is new out there and what is maybe something that's worth paying attention to. So when I normally work on this, my first place to go is the customer portal. Right? We can all go out to the customer portal, and this is where people normally go to download stuff. But there's a lot of other stuff in here to be aware of. One of my favorite ones is this little dialog over here that you can actually get to appear inside SolidWorks too. But just look at this. 2014 Service Pack 1 Early Visibility is out. That's a pretty neat to know that one, as Kevin says, is scheduled to come out. There is also a couple of other things to know is that actually 2013 Service Pack 5 is available. So you can actually click on these links and you can go out and get these tech alerts out there. So just so you know that you have access to some of this information from the customer portal. So I think that's nice to know that we have that there. Another thing that is neat is, of course, the forum to get a lot of these news things. And then one of my favorite ones, the SolidWorks blog. And all these links, in the end, we're going to have an email address. You can just email us. We would like to get your feedback on what you think of the morning show. But also, if you want any of these links, we'll definitely send it to you so you don't have to hunt them down yourself. The SolidWorks blog is really a neat place to go out and see some neat stuff. Anybody who's doing plastic injection, I think you will like the warning about reading. This may save you some time and money. This is a company that creates like emergency lights and stuff like that, and how they've used SolidWorks plastics to get that information. So a really good read in here. So there is a blog out there, SolidWorks blog, and really need to read up on. There was a blog post that I found very interesting. It was back in September, but I will give you the link for this. 2D. Matt Lorano is actually a SolidWorks blogger who was hired by SolidWorks a few years ago. And he did a really interesting blog, it was a forum post he started out with, where he asked the questions to the customers. What are your workarounds and drawings? And it's a really neat forum thread. And again, if you email us, I will definitely send you the link. And people, so SolidWorks is really trying to get information from you guys on, what the heck is going on, what is the issues you're running into, and how can SolidWorks make the product better. And Matt is like phenomenal at going out there and fish these things out. So people really gave some good workaround on some of the things we're running into in SolidWorks, and it's a really good read, right? Maybe you have some issues, and you actually will find the answers in here. And SolidWorks is definitely working hard on getting those. So of course you have SolidWorks.com to get a lot of these news information and stuff like that. But don't forget about our website. Our website actually just got a kind of like a revamp here, CADimensions website. Type that in your browser, and you will see our new website where we have really tried to put some information up. We have upcoming training schedule. This is also from here that you can go into tech support, right? If you want to submit a case, recorded lunch and learns and stuff like that. So I think that the news is that 2014 is out and it's rocking. Service Pack 1 is just about ready to hit the market, and there's some good reads out there that I definitely would recommend you guys to kind of like take a look at. Now, when you're working in this environment, Kevin, sometimes again it can be hard to find all this stuff. Do you possibly have any good ideas about how I can go out and actually get maybe some help on how to find things out there?
Absolutely. So we need to talk about a few of those things, obviously. But I wanted to reference, we talked about the question section and the fact that we're going to kind of interact. And I didn't know how crazy the first morning show would get, but we've already had our first reference to twerking in our question section. So I want to thank Mark for bringing up twerking in our very first morning show, and I want to thank Mike for giving us the spelling of selfie. So that helps us out. One of the problems and kind of what Lars was referencing is resources. And, as the product has matured, there are so many people out there in public space that have enough knowledge on the product to, bring the intelligent conversation and to share knowledge. And what happens if you can't get the knowledge about what you're trying to do? And I'm just going to lighten this up a little bit with a little video. If you've seen this already, enjoy it again. If not, this is a day in the life when you don't know where to go to get the answers about what's going on.
I hate computers, I hate computers, I hate computers. So tell me it's not going to crash, right? Come on, come on. I'm only going to lose one wire. Why, it's shutting down on you? Dude, it's not looking healthy. Have you saved any of this? It's a reoccurring problem with Jason that as he's working, he doesn't save anything. So if it crashes, everything gets wiped out and you got to start all over again. You going to lunch, dude?
So, if you're having one of those days where, you don't know how to do a certain loft, or you're trying to get to a particular command, it can be frustrating if you can't get the information. What I want to share with you is something that's kind of a change in the community, a way of bringing everything together in an environment. The things that Lars was talking about as it relates to the blog, to the forum, it's starting to get to the point where there's 50 sites that I can go to for information. Today we want to talk about one site that can bring it all together. It's called My.solidworks.com. You can go to it today as a SolidWorks user, and what it will provide you is a unified interface for searching many different areas of the web. This is the interface for My.solidworks. They've broken out the front page into various areas that you may want to search. For instance, if I'm a student or educator and I click on the box for being a student and educator, it brings up the most recent articles related to that particular item. Now what's great in this area is I can bookmark these for later viewing. I'm not going to sit here all day and figure out which one I'm going to read. I may bookmark a few and grab them later. But it also becomes the ability to share the knowledge with other people. You have this share with others link. You can use Google Plus or Facebook or LinkedIn or even tweet and email the information to other people. So I have this single environment that has all these different areas, but let's say I wanted to look up something on e-drawings. I can actually do a search directly within that interface, and it provides me, in this case, 4,000 results for e-drawings. Now, this is actually going out the spider web and figuring out where this information is. I don't have to go to the blog post. I don't have to go to the forum. I don't have to go to the help or the knowledge base. It goes to all those areas for me. Now what's great is you can actually narrow your results down. So if you're looking for something on YouTube, you can click the button over here to go to YouTube, and it will take you to the YouTube segments that have videos that are specific to that. So this My.SolidWorks brings everything together. In this case, let's say our SolidWorks forums. Now Lars briefly mentioned the SolidWorks forums, but when I get in here and I find something I'm looking for instance a forum post, it actually takes me right to the forums, right to the conversation and discussion that we're having, and you can go ahead and reply. Now one thing you want to keep in mind is these forums are fantastic for asking questions. Hey, I'm trying to create this type of geometry. What have you done? These are people that have lived SolidWorks just like you. But My.SolidWorks is going to link you to those individuals. I also want to point out, and I think this is phenomenal, a lot of us are using 3D Content Central to search for data. Well, you can also go to the CAD models section and see what new CAD models have been added to 3D Content Central. Your search can search 3D Content Central as well. So there's, bringing in all these different things has been fantastic. Now two other things that we use a lot of times is the knowledge base on the customer portal. So I've got an issue. First thing I want to do is find out if somebody else has had the issue and if it's a known known result or known fix, so I can go to the knowledge base on the customer portal. Well, guess what? This actually searches the support knowledge base as well. The other place we go is your help file. So anything I search in here also searches the online help. Now, this is going to be, going forward from what we hear, it's going to become that one environment to go to find answers. So if you have a chance, and I can actually invite everyone who's attended the webinar today, if you have a chance, go to my.solidworks.com, bookmark it, and that way you have any question or want to learn about any area of SolidWorks, you can do so using My.Solidworks. So, Lars, now's the time that we get to bring our audience in. And I have to thank the group that we have on here because, wow, we've got a lot of comments and a running conversation going on here. So some questions maybe from our audience here that we have. First one, and we'll try to answer these. Anything that you type in here, if we don't get to it in the next few minutes here as we're closing the webinar, feel free to contact us, or we'll actually contact you. So first one, I have copies of parts in several folders, and I'm trying to clean up my server. How do I find the difference between two solid models that I have in different folders so I can figure out if there even is a difference between them? That's a fantastic question. So if we go to SolidWorks for a moment here, one of the tools we're going to have in our arsenal, as long as we have Pro or Premium as part of utilities, is in the Tools menu, you have an option to compare. Now, Drawing Compare is in the base package, but the others, we need to have utilities to take care of it. But one of those is the ability to compare geometry. Now, what's great about this is now I've got two CAD models. They look the same. I think they're the same. But now I can go ahead and do a comparison between them. And I think I got some examples here. Let's see. Let's go back one more. Let's do a compare. So here's an original file. These happen to be in the same folder, just for the example, and some sort of changed file. Now you tell it what you're trying to compare, and you run the comparison inside of SolidWorks. What it's going to do is split your screen to allow you to see the differences. What you're seeing in the bottom is the volumetric comparison between the two. Right now I have it showing the common volume between the two. I can turn that off in all three items. The blue is being any material that's been removed from version 1 to version 2, and the material added from version 1 to version 2. Now in the case of this, what this really means is that I moved this particular feature. I slid it down, and I end up adding a couple lugs here. But this is going to allow me to see, are they the same? Are they not the same? This will give you some insight to that, and hopefully help you to clean up some of those server spaces that have that. Now there is also a report functionality here. If I save a report, I'm going to give it a name, and let's say we'll just save it to my desktop here. And what you'll actually see is an HTML report gets created on my desktop here. All right. And I apologize, I'm going to have to show you all my messy desktop. And here we go. And it's just a report that outlines what you're comparing, the volume differences that there might be, but more importantly at the end you have the graphics so you can use it to make a decision with your engineering team. Lars, you got any questions you want to cover?
Yeah, we got a couple here. Let's see. I'm sitting here looking at my other monitor. Customer portal. Isn't that a neat place? How do you create a customer portal account? That's a good question. Well, you gotta have an internet connection. And am I presenting here? I don't think I am. So I'm sitting here showing you all kinds of cool stuff and not showing my screen. There we go. Customer portal account is everybody can have a customer portal account. There's no limit to that. You might have a little bit about what access you can get into. If you go to SolidWorks.com and you click login, that is where you can choose what direction you want to go in. So the customer portal account is sitting right over here. So SolidWorks.com, hit login, and you can click the customer portal. And if you do have a customer portal account, well, then you type in your email and your password. If you don't have one, then you can create an account. And literally just click here, create an account. And like I said, you can all you have to do is you have to have a SolidWorks serial number. But you can use multiple, if you only have one seat of SolidWorks in your company, you can just use that serial number over and over again. That's to get access to that is not a problem. To get your serial number inside of SolidWorks, you just go into SolidWorks, and one of the ways to do it is that you can hit Help and then hit About SolidWorks, and then it will display. You type that in, and you can set up a customer portal account. That's really great. Like Kevin talked about the knowledge base, and he talked about some other neat things that you can search for help for the forum and stuff like that. And that's all stuff we can do from the customer portal. We can get new updates and new versions. So so some neat stuff on the customer portal. Definitely something I think everybody should take the time to set up. So you just need to go to solidworks.com, hit login, go to the customer portal, and get that set up. What about you, Kevin? Is there anybody else we have here?
Yeah, I have one more. I think we have time for one more here, and we'll go from there. So the question I have on my end, it looks like somebody's trying to use the combine command to perform a function, but is wondering why one of the bodies gets deleted after you perform the combine command. So let's go into SolidWorks here and close some of this stuff down we were working with. And let's create a multi-body part to show this. Very simple geometry. Let's start with something like this. Okay. Create a solid. Then we'll create a second block in here and talk about what we can do. So we want to, in a lot of cases, remove some material, let's say from one part to another. Obviously, when you're creating that second body, you must turn off merge result to create the second body. The problem is, in some cases, you want that second body to exist in there. Maybe you're going to add to it. Maybe it's a weldment, or you're going to have a multi-body part. If I perform a combine, which hit my S key, it's not on there. I can just type in combine here. I have options to add, subtract, or find common areas. If I do a subtraction, here's the issue I think that's being questioned here. If I take the main body and I try to subtract the smaller body, it actually removes the original subtractive body, where in a lot of cases I don't want to do that. So one of the options that we're able to use is the Move Copy body, which is available under Insert Features, Move Copy. What you can do is take the body that you're going to subtract, and you're going to actually make a copy of that body, and you can tell how many copies you need. This creates a third copy. It will tell you, hey, you're not translating, you're not rotating it, if you're sure you want to do this, that's fine. If you look at my bodies, it now gives me a third body. Now when I go ahead and do that combine, the previous body or the copy of the body is still listed there. So great question. That's a way around that, working with that. Lars, you think we got room for one more? Or?
Yeah. So first of all, Edgar, yeah, it's portal. So one of those foreign dudes, not portal. So you got it right the first time. It's portal. P-O-R-T-A-L. Sorry about that. My buddy Joe asked about, is there a way to edit text in a sketch without having to delete it and re-entering the modified text? I guess my question is, are we talking about imported text, or are you actually talking about sketch text that you created via the sketch icon up here? Because if you select up here, you could start typing something in, and if you go back in and edit the sketch, again, if you click on the right thing, then you actually do get the same dialog up again where you can go in and change it, if I can pick it up. Right? Don't you? Ooh, my webinar here is going a little hairy. Let's try this. So you can go back in here and change that again if you want to. Just have a hard time picking it. If that's what you mean. If not, then let us know, and we'll definitely look into that. So thanks, Joe. Definitely will. If that's not the case, let us know. I think that's it. Kevin, you wanna wrap this Friday morning up before we run too late here?
Yeah. So we've had very good attendance, and I really do appreciate the conversations and the questions, and it helps with the interaction. And we've already had some suggestions in the question section for topics for the next show and beyond. So I just want to thank everyone for attending. We do have a scheduled next show on December 20th, kind of close to Christmas. You may be seeing Lars and myself, but you may also be seeing other staff at CADimensions. We're going to use this as a way of introducing everyone and letting everyone, show their ideas and information that they've been able to retrieve. So you may see other individuals here. We are going to answer any questions that haven't been answered through the question section, but we also want your feedback as far as what you thought of the format, what kind of things you might want to see, what segments you really enjoyed or didn't enjoy. If you could just email your questions to marketing@CADimensions.com, we would really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed your Friday morning and that your Danish might be better than your donut. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Lars, thank you. Thank you, everyone online. And we will see you.